Hi, welcome to my 12th house synastry series, and this is Sun in the 12th house. 12th house is the attic in your home, things that in time lose value but are remembered or experienced. It's your unconscious fears, imprisonment mentally, emotionally, or physically. Sun in the 12th house synastry causes the ego to drown here. The ego is a 3D trait, not a 5D trait. 5D is what the 12th house is about. This is why the synastry is confusing yet wholesome. Let's begin with positives. Sun person comes into the 12th houser's life by being the caretaker, usually when they are older or wiser. Sun will hide harsh things of life to protect 12th houser. Sun takes responsibility in seeing 12th houser be free, not happy. This synastry is more to do with people's freedom, as we're dealing with unconscious things, rather than being happy, which is what the 3D desires. This synastry is about your soul's desires. Sun person will secretly watch the 12th houser behind the scenes as they share telepathy. Sun will do this as they truly recognize the 12th houser's soul. They notice their vulnerable side of the 12th houser 24/7. Hence, they are always ready to protect the 12th houser. Sun will bring worries or check up on the 12th houser in a not obvious way to help 12th houser heal or feel secure. Sun has emotional intelligence when it comes to the 12th houser, even if they don't have it with other people. Sun has the ability to figure out and straighten out any mess that the 12th houser is feeling or facing. Sun will accept the ashamed or vulnerable thoughts of the 12th houser. Therefore, they have deep talks and end up actually doing something in their lives that they were scared to do or thought they couldn't accomplish. 12th houser feels safe with Sun person when they meet automatically. 12th houser will find themselves being really soft around Sun person and open up emotionally. 12th houser will slowly talk about their wounds compared to the Sun person. 12th houser is willing to do anything to make Sun person fulfill their goals. 12th houser is able to work behind the scenes really hard and make it look easy for the Sun person so that the Sun person doesn't feel alone or a burden. 12th houser usually is the one that introduces Sun person to uncondition their minds of things that they're not fulfilling them. Let's start with the negatives. I would like to say that this is the messy part. However, this synastry, we say messy because we love these people or we have a good feeling for them. So we tend to gaslight ourselves and say, oh, it just gets blurry, it gets messy. But the reality, it is a negative. Instantly, when you're met with the negatives, Sun person will still begin and be very nice to 12th houser and be very sweet. Sun person can help 12th houser get like a job or anything that they require that's causing them confusion. Usually here it's because 12th houser is feeling like they're at risk about losing something. 12th house also deals with losses. These two people, especially the Sun, will make up dates for them to keep meeting each other, and they're going to notice that they will spend a lot of time being together. And it's all nice and sweet at the beginning until planet person here usually, which is in this case Sun person, will start to show their true colors. We'll start by talking bad things about other people and saying how they only like 12th houser, and initially you're going to like this as a 12th houser because you feel appreciated. You finally are around someone that sees who for you really are. However, long term this is not good because you see why Sun person is saying that. It's that ego, that Sun, it feels entitled to 12th houser's life. Sun person will try to figure out the 12th houser's way of dealing with things emotionally, because Sun person here can have an assumption that 12th houser is really strong or has a natural gift or just a shine that makes them get what they want in life, or they look secure. So Sun person will try to learn that and become that as well. And this is why the 12th house is like a bit of a projection. It's like an unconscious thing. It's like a mirror thing that people don't want to face. So Sun person will try to take some traits from the 12th houser person, yet at the same time not really liking those traits. And they could be right. There's probably traits that the 12th houser has that is not good. However, they admire that, but at the same time they know they don't have that in them. Even though they recognize it, doesn't mean they have it. And that can really annoy Sun person because they want to look as strong as a 12th houser person. Amongst all of these things, 12th houser will start to resent the sun person, and so does the sun person. But the sun person shows more physical frustration over this. And because we're dealing with 12th house, people here have a hard time addressing the other. You're going to notice sun person is going to start making like weird faces, huffing and puffing, being a bit distant, or only contacting 12th houser for things that they want, party events, things like this. And 12th houser also can start to distance themselves or do things more in secrecy so that sun doesn't find out and think that means that they don't want sun person around, which is more likely the case. So they're going to start doing this tit for tat behind the scenes and assuming what the other one is doing. 12th houser can find themselves lying to the sun person so the sun person doesn't get upset, because they know the soul of the sun person. They can feel the sun person's rage. Now, externally to other people, their rage from the 12th house or the sun person, it's mellow. It's like, people say, I don't see sun person being really angry. What are you talking about? Because this synastry is literally about them recognizing their soul and them only being the only ones to understand the connection to 12th house. Those tiny little jabs and things that the sun person does is like equivalent to screaming at them or hurting them, because we're talking about the soul. It's raw. And it's the same thing with the 12th houser. The 12th houser being distant or lying is like a sharp knife into the sun person. So to people will be like, this is not as deep, but it is that deep. If these two people are struggling to let each other go, which I've noticed in this synastry is sun person struggles to let go, they will start to act sick, or they will act like they are going back to their addiction or whatever it is that they're struggling in their unconscious to make 12th houser stay. But this is just like the 8th house synastry is the same effect of triggers. So whoever is the person that's struggling to let go is the person that's going to over exaggerate what's going on to make the other stay. Sun person can be jealous also of the relationship that 12th houser has with other people, especially if it's to do with something emotionally, sacrificing something for other people. Sun person can have a hard time agreeing with this. This is why you see a lot of best friend synastry here, and sun person will not like that because, excuse me, 12th houser, you're my best friend. Sun person doesn't like to be corrected by 12th houser person, and when this happens, it's like a domino effect to everything negative coming down the road, because sun person always wants a 12th houser to see them as the wiser, the one that's smarter, that protects them. So when the person you love and protect is saying that they don't like certain things about you, it's really hard for sun person to swallow. And also when sun person says that to the 12th houser, I don't think you've been there enough for me like you used to, that can also really hurt 12th houser. You know that this synastry is going to start getting messy when sun person starts to make little jabs saying, oh, you're too extra, you think you're the best, things that it's natural for the 12th houser to be. But again, just like the trigger, whoever is making the side comment is the person that's going to be the problem. Sun person can also feel like they deserve a cookie for doing things to the 12th houser or throw things back into the 12th houser's face when they don't get their way. 12th houser can do the same. However, they tend to be the second person to do that. They usually do this when they feel cornered by the sun person. Observations of this synastry: there's usually a distance between these people. Even if it's like a sibling, there's always a point where you don't see each other physically as much. They will end up talking about spirituality or like religion. I noticed that sun person meets 12th houser when they are going through like a crisis and people calling them problematic people, and sun person is the one that comes to their rescue or understands that 12th houser is just misunderstood. There's usually here a illness or depression for both people. However, one will show it out more than the other, and usually is 12th houser that shows that they're struggling. The more sacrifices or pain or struggles they go through, the more they get closer. They will read a lot of things together that help them as human beings in life, so they're going to study and share information with the other a lot. There could be a secret affair here of them two actually being together and they're not supposed to, or usually here is one or the other having a secret partner. And usually the person that's doing that is the person that is scared of opening themselves up. Sun person here doesn't feel accepted by society, and it will kind of mirror what the 12th houser person feels. However, 12th houser will accept their things that are not accepted in society in an unapologetic way compared to the sun person, and that's what draws them together.